Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hex Draft video set. We took a weekend off, but we are back again as we open our first pack here. We have a few really powerful cards in it, actually. Cosmic Callings I don't think is a particularly great rare, but we've got two really good uncommons in here. We've got a Webborn Apostate and a Phoenix Guard Lancer. Webborn Apostate leaves us a little bit more open, but Phoenix Guard Lancer is definitely the more powerful of these two cards, so I think I'm going to go ahead and snag the Lancer on the off chance we might not end up playing it, but usually Lancer is something that you can splash since it's a more expensive card even if you don't end up in Sapphire and Diamond. Looking at this next pack, this pack's pretty terrible. The rare is a resource that's useless, all of the uncommons are bad. Someone else already identified that and took a common out of this pack as well. I'm going to go ahead and get one of the only other playable cards out of this pack, which is a Storm Rider, which happens to line up with the Phoenix Guard Lancer shards here. So it looks so far like we're gearing up to play an Ada mid-range control deck even after the nerf with Ada costing 6 charges. I think she's still very reasonable in this limited format. Bad cards in the pack I don't have a lot to talk about. Wow, this pack's great. We've got Skittering Cultivator here, we've got Shackling Strands, we've got Chastise. Like, all of these cards are very, very reasonable. There's a Feed the Flames in here, and an Ashwood Minstrel, and a Stalagamage. There's an Absolute Power that we're definitely not casting. I think I want to take the Chastise out of this pack and like hope that one of these two Sapphire cards wheels. Shackling Strands and Chastise are definitely two of the best cards in here. Skittering Cultivator has merits, just like I've already got one mobilized card, but I think I want to go ahead and prioritize picking up the piece of removal here. We're still at a point where we might end up splashing the Sapphire off this Phoenix Guard Lancer, but I think we're gearing up firmly to be in Diamond at this point, and I'd prefer not to pass the Chastise as a good Diamond card. Regardless of which Sapphire card I took out of that pack, I'd still be passing a reasonable Sapphire card, so good chance we get cut on Sapphire in the second pack. Speaking of, this pack's got two very good Diamond cards in it. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up a second Chastise here. This card kills a lot of the troops that we care about in this format. Would love it if this Storm Rider or the Cerulean Sage wheeled back around to us here, but I think I'm going to prioritize picking up the removal here for sure. What do we got? Razor Edge Duelist is a very reasonable 2-drop. It starts pressuring our opponent and also makes Phoenix Guard Lancer very good. There's a really sweet Rock Slider deck going around. This is the second Rock Slider that we're passing already. Unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too late to pivot into that. If they wheel to us, we'll pick the Rock Sliders up and maybe play a Marzel deck, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Razor Edge Duelist here. Worth noting there's a Bushi in this pack as well, which is one of the better wild uncommons in this set, but I think grabbing the Razor Edge Duelist and staying on the Diamond Plan is good. Get a Blindside here in this pack, which is a very playable Diamond Combat Trick. Boisterous Ballad, Eager Lackey, both are the reasonable cards in this pack. Frailroot Texas is okay if you're already in Wild. 10 out of 10 just taking this Blindside though, firmly in Diamond at this point. I got 6 cards here, 6 plenty playable cards. Probably want to prioritize troops a little bit here. I don't know if we get like a Decree of Banishing or something obnoxious like that. We'll still take it obviously, but we're definitely prioritizing troops over combat tricks at this point in our shards. There's a Sweep Away in here. Sweep Away is kind of like a split troop combat trick card. I'm not a huge fan of Battle Scrivener in this format. Like, the 1-4 stats are like okay. The Diligence can be kind of hard to enable, so I think I'd rather have the Sweep Away as like a combat trick. You can blow your opponent out when they go to like pump their troop or something like that, or just like buy yourself some tempo. And it comes with a Broom Bot, so like if your turn 3 is like pick up their 3-drop play plus put a 2/1 in for ourselves, usually that's reasonable, with the potential upside of like being Tricksy in combat or potentially saving our own troop from a removal spell down the line. 10 out of 10, like I said, going to prioritize taking the troop over the combat trick here. Outflank and Cerulean Sage are both reasonable cards, but we're definitely looking for some cheap things to mobilize our Phoenix Guard Lancer, or hopefully we can see a Cloudbounder or two in the second pack. The Awaken Herald here is probably the pick. It enables, it's another cheap troop and enables a splash here on the Sapphire if we end up wanting to pivot into a second shard as we go along. Like if those, if the Rock Sliders come back around, which I'll be kind of surprised if you do, but if the Rock Sliders come back around, we could snake those and then splash the Phoenix Guard Lancer. Nothing particularly exciting in here. I guess I'll take the Draka, the Feral Root deck. All these cards are pretty bad, so it really doesn't matter what we take. You got like 9-ish playables here, so really we don't need that many more at this point. I'm going to hide the Awaken Herald, have 8-ish playables. The Minstrel came back around, but the Rock Slider did not. Not too terribly surprising. I guess I'll take the Minstrel at this point. I'm going to take the Roidbot, actually. If we get past one of the Rock Sliders wheeled, but the other one didn't? Is that what just happened? I think the Rock Sliders were running packs, so this next pack has a Rock Slider. That means we got running Rock Sliders back, but I think we just got one Rock Slider, but not the other. That's really weird. I guess someone else must have been looking at a pack and gone Rock Slider's the best card and snaked it up. Yeah, strange. Okay. This card's like pseudo-playable. I don't know, a 3/3 that requires a troop to play before turn 4 is kind of mediocre. I'll grab Necropolis coins at this point because, again, if we get an Underworld Officer, we can splash it off like the coin Roidbot Awaken Herald. I'm a big fan of Underworld Officer, just like a 3-cost must-answer troop or you're going to lose the game. Dredge into the pack here, just filling out the reserve, so to speak. Again, just, dealer's choice. Bombs? Mystic Naturalist. God, good. Good God, this pack. Well, you're supposed to prioritize bombs over removals, so I guess we're taking another Phoenix Guard Lancer here, but man, there's Decree of Banishing here, which is the best piece of removal in the format in general, and definitely in Diamond. I think I could, try and hope to wheel this Lancer, but, someone else picked up a Cosmic Calling, so they're probably going to take this, and I think I'm going to get more game wins out of a second Lancer than I will out of Decree of Banishing. Hopefully, Ambush, Chastise, Web Scribe, Vigilant, Duskwigger, Skittery, Cultivator come back around to us here. That pack is stacked. A lot of goodies in there for a Sapphire Diamond player. There's Cloudbounder. Alright, yep, that's everything we want in life. Just like a 3/3. Mobilize and Flight, and then hopefully this Cerulean Sage comes back around to us. We definitely want to start prioritizing picking up 1 and 2 drops that way we can mobilize the Cloudbounder and the Phoenix Guard Lancer consistently. Would love it if we got a Cerulean Sage or 2 still in this pack, another Razor Edge Duelist. I guess we have that Awaken Herald in our reserves that we can bring back in if we end up light on 2 drops at the end of the day. Excuse me. What you got? What you got? What you got, opponent? Wakuna Lookout's technically like a 1 and a 2 drop like we were asking for here. Windborne Ascension doesn't technically play till 3. You can play it on 1 and then play the 3 drop on 3. That's fast enough to mobilize out the Phoenix Guard Lancer on 4, so that's probably fine. The Windborne Ascension also can just like randomly generate some game-ending bombs like Fentio or Rizix or Underworld Officer, so like definitely think this is worth picking up. It's like a 3-cost bomb basically. For my next trick, we will get past a Cerulean Sage here, which is 10 out of 10. You know, mentioned that's everything we want to be doing in this draft, so sign me up. We're up to 3 reasonable 1 and 2 cost troops. We probably want somewhere in the 6 to 8 range on the 1 and 2 drops, so ideally going to find like 5 more here between the next 2 packs. I suppose I could also slash Ruby off this Roid bot and Awakened Herald if we get like an Ardent Officer in the 3rd pack. Seem completely unreasonable. Another Windborne Ascension, another Awakened Herald. I think it's just the Ascension. We've got quite a bit of top end at this point. I don't think I want another Vigilant. I don't think I want a Vigilant Duskwing. And like I mentioned, Ascension's kind of a bomb most of the time anyways, so let's just go ahead and pick that up. We're gonna have plenty to do with our resources in the early turns here, it's looking like. Coming out of pack 1, it looked like we were getting kind of cut on Sapphire, but we're getting a lot of good Sapphire cards in this pack, it feels like. Not as much Diamond. Nothing too terribly exciting here. I think the objectively best card in our shards here is this Galleon Spearcliff and possibly the Outflank. I think I'd like to round out my top end a little bit more with this Spearcliff rather than grab the Combat Trek. This could be wrong, and maybe, like, these are basically 4 to 6 drops, so I might have too much at this point. Mooncall Ceremony is fantastic. It's another thing to give us to do with our resources on 1. Also, it generates or conscripts a 2-cost troops. If we play this on 1, that gives us a 2-drop to play on 2, which we can then Cloudbounder on 3, etc. So, again, just like filling out our curve here. Windborne Ascension isn't a 1 or 2-cost troop, but we have 2 Sages, a Mooncall, and a Duelist now, so that's 4. So we're about halfway to where we want to be, 2/3 of the way. Somewhere in the 6 to 8 range is ideal, so we can consistently be diligencing out things. And the Cerulean Sage and the Skittering Cultivator came back around to us. Wow. I think the fact that we are mostly on the flying plan at this point means that I want the Cerulean Sage, so we're going to have plenty to do on the first turn of the game in this deck. And we're up to 5 playables here at the bottom end of our curve, which is fantastic. Wow, the Chastise Wield. Oh, this was our original pack that had... Oh, we hadn't seen that pack where that Cerulean Sage came out of yet. Okay, so this is our original pack that had, like, Web Scribe and stuff in it, too. So a lot of the Sapphire cards and the Decree of Banishing are gone out of here. I guess I'll take a 3rd Chastise. Hopefully we don't play against too many things that don't die to that. You can feel it now. We're going to get into a game and have like 2 or 3 of these in our hand. They're just going to have like mono troops on their side of the table that if they don't kill. Like 17-ish playables here already. That's pretty good. Still have a pack and a half to go here. Vanquish, this is like kind of playable removal. Destroys a troop with power 4 or more. Ardent Allegiance, create a Valor and put it in your hand. The Vanquish and the Spear Cliff are probably our first cuts. Maybe a Chastise if we get some other playable removal in the third pack, like a Bring to Justice or a Lamify, perhaps. Here, we'll Kuna look out here just in case we want to end up, like, if we play against a particularly aggressive deck, we can board this in as a 1/3 that helps us mobilize things faster. If we get more playables out of this pack, I'd be kind of surprised. He says as he gets past an outflank. Yeah, let's come in there for now. I think I'm trimming these for the time being, trying to drag our curve down here. The fact that we've got like all these Cerulean Sages really makes me want to try and be a little bit more aggressive, like pressure our opponent a lot here. Which makes the sweep away and the blind side even better, I think. Because the blind side, getting to ready the Cerulean Sage, like you attack with it as a 2/3, and you blind-side it, it'll get +5/+3. Reversion is a plenty fine combat trick, revert target card. If we have room, I'll definitely play that in my main, but I think with the outflank and the blind side, we probably don't have room for this. Wow, Wild is pretty open, it looks like. All three of these cards are kind of reasonable. Eager Lackey is one of the better Wild 1-drops in the format. One of the better Wild cards in general in this set, I think. Let's see how this last pack goes for us, but I feel like we're kind of having plenty of playables here. I wonder if this is actually supposed to be a Marshall Josephina deck instead of Ada, just with how aggressive it's getting. It feels like it's slanted to be. That's probably not correct. It's like getting those extra 2 flyers even on turn 6 means you can kind of push through those last couple points of damage you wouldn't otherwise be able to. The old blind Basilisk, because sometimes you need a 23rd card to play in sealed. Hey, Friar Tusk. We board this in against the Dreadling deck. Bombs. Bombs. Actually, nothing we want to play in here. I guess I'll just draft the Steel Intel, because it's probably like 100 platinum or so. Playable constructed rare. That's fine. We're really not looking for much in this pack, like 2 to 3 cards, or sorry, 4 to 5 cards. Ideally, we can upgrade one of these Chastises into a Lamify or a Bring to Justice, kind of round out our remove with a little bit more variety, as opposed to Chastise, just a little bit narrow on some occasions. Would love to pick up some of the 1-cost 2/2 flyers that require a Sapphire and Diamond Threshold. That card would be ideal for this deck. We've got so many 1-drops, we'd very consistently be able to play 2 1-drops on the second turn of the game. Like Sage on 1 into that, plus Sage on 2. Nothing super exciting in here. I guess we have a Lamify. There's a Twilight Reverend in here. We've got this coin, this Awakened Herald, and this Roid Bot. There's a Lamify in here that I talked about. I kind of want to play this Twilight Reverend. Man, what if we did that? Or is Gorn double threshold now? I forget. Actually not sure. What if we did this? This might not be insane. It might be bad, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try this. I've been winning a lot in my drafts recently. I could use the old splash it out, not get paid off. Think about this one here while we draft the rest of this pack. Maybe get lucky, get a second Twilight Reverend. Just remind people what this format used to be like. Nothing very exciting in this pack at all. Even with the possibility of splashing an extra shard. I guess I'll take the rare. This one's probably not even worth anything. Hey, there's the Cloud Runner that we were talking about earlier that we would love to draft some copies of. Sapphire Diamond Round out all these 1-drops here at the bottom. This does not seem completely unreasonable. Let's pass me another couple of Cloud Runners here, and then we can be off to the races. I think Lamify is fine here. It's our 4th piece of removal, technically. We find something else, we probably change one of these Chastises out for something. At 18 or 22 playable at this point, which is about where we want to be. Spearcliff Captain's actually pretty good. It's a 2/2 for 3 that creates a Valor, and then when it attacks, Valor's troops get flight. So if you Valor itself, it's a 3/3 flyer for 4, basically. Probably Trima Chastise at this point. Guppy Gloves, Forlorn Soldier. Nothing too terribly exciting in here no matter how we cut this. I guess I'll grab the Guppy Gloves for now just in case we want to play it. I don't think I want to start that, but it could be something we board in particular matchups. As is, I think if we just want to play the 1 Twilight Revenant with the Awakened Herald and the Roid Bot and the coin, we probably just need to play like 1 Blood Shard, which isn't too terrible. We don't have any double Sapphire cards, so we'll be a little bit less on that. Yep, nothing super exciting in here. Honestly, this Wallbuster's probably not terrible. Probably not better than anything I'm already playing, but doesn't seem like the worst. If we had a Sapphire resource in here, and then probably go 8, or add a blood, and then like 8 diamond, puts us to... yeah, probably like 9 diamond and 7 sapphire. And then we've got Roid Bot and Awakened Herald can technically fix for sapphire too if we need them to. Cleansing Touch is a fine board card, kind of like a more expensive version, but also randomly generate Valors for us in case we're like taking a Shackling Strands off of one of our troops. Alright, perfect. The Primal Prism came back around, so won't even have to play a Blood Shard in the deck. We can get 4 blood sources here without having to play an actual Blood Shard, which is my favorite way to splash. And at this point, we have 22 playables, and we're just looking to get up and go, basically. I guess with the Prism, I can probably play 8 and 8 on the resource at this point. It's like 9/9 basically. And like this is a 10th, and this is an extra sapphire kind of. I don't hate that. What we got here? Survey says that constructed playable Sentry of Nulzan. Get in my sockets deck, Sentry of Nulzan. Yeah, so we don't actually have any sockets left here. We're just gonna go ahead and round this out with 8 diamond and 8 sapphire, and we'll pick Ada out as the champion. Thanks for watching today's draft video. Remember to stay tuned for the gameplay as well as the wrap-up segment. Remember, if you enjoyed today's videos, to like them on YouTube and share them on your social media. If you're interested in supporting my content past that, there's a couple different ways you can do that. The first is by subscribing on Twitch or becoming a patron on Patreon. Information on how to do both of those things down in the links below the stream. You also support my content by supporting my sponsor, HexPrimal.com. Ooh, it's been a while since I've pointed. Would love to sell you some Hex TCG singles and use code Jeff5 at checkout at their website. Not only will you save 5% on your orders, but you will also be supporting my content here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some gameplay video, folks.